being in an environment where you get access to your lecturers, you get access to that direct content, that direct peer learning, it made those challenges so much easier because I wasn't facing them alone.
Did you ever fail an exam?
Yes.
Which exam was this?
100%. So I failed my CCNA networking,
Okay.
my Cisco. Very hard, very difficult. Coming from someone who knew absolutely nothing about switches, networking, and now like being able to, the fact that I'm able to even tell you what a switch is, even though I failed, the information, like I'm able to understand, I'm able to have those conversations with people. We even offer training to actual employed companies where they are coming to us looking for these vendor certifications that we are offering in tech.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hello and welcome to ThinkPod, where we talk about everything tech, education, and business. My name is Tebogo, and I am your host today. Today I'm joined by a rising star by the name of Olebogeng Letshwiti, and he's going to be joining us today to be sharing information about his journey within the ICT space, where he's learned some incredible stuff in IT. Without any further ado, I'll just introduce him. Olebogeng, welcome.
Thank you so much, Tebogo, and thank you for having me at ThinkPod. I'm so glad to be here with you guys.
Awesome stuff. Thank you so much for coming through. So we just wanted to use today to get to know a little bit about you, where you come from, how you ended up being in the space where you are right now. So I just want to get to know about, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right, no problem. Without chewing your ear off, just to tell you a little bit about me, who I am. You heard from the intro, the name is Olebogeng Letshwiti. And around the time of this recording, I'm 24. And I've actually been working in the ICT space now, I can say, for about 7, 8, 9 months since the time of my graduation, since the time of me getting my accreditations. And since then, I can say the journey has been one of learning, one of not hardship, but a little bit of elbow grease, I can say, definitely. Definitely, I can say that I've always had a passion for ICT. I've always wanted to be in the ICT space. And much like people in my age, we don't really know where we want to start, how we want to start.
Yeah. So where did you start?
So when...
Before the IT, what were you doing? Where did the journey start?
So I actually graduated in the year of 2020. That's during COVID, a little bit of a tumultuous year. But after my graduation, I knew that I wanted to work in tech. I knew that I wanted to study tech. But I had a passion for the creative. And so I found a middle way between tech and having a creative outlet for myself. And that was through game development.
Oh, incredible. That sounds exciting.
So I attended a course and it didn't go as exciting as I thought it would be.
Okay. So you were doing that while you're still in high school or after high school?
So funnily enough, I actually knew exactly what I wanted to study before I even matriculated.
Wow. Okay.
So I attended some short courses, and by the time I matriculated, I went directly into university and I started studying. I did a short course for game development. It was a 1-year course.
Audio?
For game development.
Okay. All right. So I thought you did like music production, sound. What's the difference between game development, sound, and just normal?
So funny enough, I did game development and sound. And within game development, you actually develop the sound for your stuff. So in game development, when you are a game dev, you're essentially an all-rounder. You're coding, you're making the art for your game, and you're making the music for your game. And that kind of led me into segueing into getting a audio composition degree, where essentially I attended at Boston, I got my degree, and it was another creative outlet for myself to release my creative juices through tech, through audio equipment, through audio software.
All right. So that was which year? It was right after you did that qualification for how long?
So I did game development in 2021. That was a 1-year course. I had a gap year between then, and then in 2022, I did my audio composition degree with Boston Music.
Okay. All right. So I think maybe tell us a little bit about how that transitioned into you getting into the space where you currently are now.
So obviously, not your first try is not going to be the one that knocks it out of the park. So I do game development, I do audio, and I get my audio degree. I don't get my game development degree, and I think a lot of students my age will find themselves in this situation where you are sitting with a degree and you don't have a job. You don't have a job. You know you want to work. You know you want to work in this industry. You know you have a valid certification, but you just can't get work. And so I started researching. I still had that passion for tech, and that led me down a rabbit hole of discovering specifically cloud computing, specifically AWS, Amazon Web Services, which is cloud computing.
Ah, interesting.
And while I'm searching and trying to find out a little bit more about cloud computing and what it even is, I come across this little website, TAP, and it just so happens that they are offering an AWS course. And, I take a look, and it just so happens that this course not only offers AWS, it just so happened to offer a lot of other accreditations. And this is where I started to learn about accreditations in general.
Yeah.
So a lot of us in high school, we are told you need a degree, you need this, you need that, but we aren't really educated about accreditations, about the value and weight that they carry. When I was first learning about web services or cloud services, I was actually thinking of studying IT in general. I'm sure a lot of people who want to
Like a degree.
an IT degree, computer science, in order to find a way into the AWS industry or cloud industry. Because I didn't know how can I get myself into this working industry? How can I work in this industry? As far as I know, it's go to university, right? That's the route that everyone does. Go to a university, go do 5 years. And that was the route that I was researching. But as I was researching that, like I said, I came across TAB, I came across the Talent Acceleration Program. And it kind of opened my eyes to accreditations. First of all, I learned that in order to get into AWS, you just need to get an accreditation. You don't need a 6, 7, 8-year course in computer science or some random degree. I learned a little bit more about accreditations and how their vendor specificity and how they relate to the active job market, which was so important for me to understand as a student, because they don't teach us that in high school.
It's the way you're unpacking this, it sounds like somebody would think you've been in this space for a long time. Because now you're like sounding so confident that, accreditation, vendor-specific certification and stuff. So how long did you do the TEP program for?
So during my intake, the TEP Acceleration course it's a 12-month course, so it was 1 year long. And during that time, we studied 4 different accreditations, 2 from AWS, 1 from Cisco, and 1 from Fortinet. If those names don't mean anything to you viewers, it's Cisco networking, Fortinet cybersecurity, and AWS would be cloud computing. And so the 12-month course, essentially, it was an online course where we had the opportunity to attend online lectures. And coming from attending physical classes, obviously my game development course was a physical class. Where I attended at Boston Media was a physical class. And so now thinking in my shoes of when I'm applying for TAB, you may not seem as you may not have been as confident to apply for something that's online,
Yeah.
for something that's 12 months long. But once I actually took the jump, took the leap, researched a little bit more about these accreditations that this course was offering, I actually saw the potential of what I'm being offered in the span of 12 months.
Yeah.
So the course was 12 months long, and I completed it and walked away with my accreditations.
Awesome. So what made you apply for the talent acceleration program? What was the drive, the motivation behind it?
So one of the things that made me apply for the talent acceleration program specifically was just how different it was from a traditional education in IT. By traditional, I mean compared to like just going to university and attending. For example, one of the key differences of TEP was just the intimacy that you had with your online lecturers. You had access to when you're in a class of, when you're in university, you're in a class of maybe even 100 and something.
Yeah.
And you don't have access to your lecturer the same way that you would in TEP, or that I would have had in TEP. The same goes for peer learning. When you are 120 in a class, we are all just trying to make it through that course. We are all just trying to get that certification and pass. But when you are in a program like TAP, where you have peer learning, where you have round the clock interaction with your lecturer, you get an entirely different experience compared to traditional learning.
It sounds like it's a more personalized experience, and you get close proximity to the person that is actually driving the training.
It truly was, because the main difference that I see between online lecturing compared to being in an actual lecture hall is that you get that access to your lecturer. You literally get the opportunity to stop the lecture in its tracks, and your lecturer can directly address you and make sure that you are following along with the rest of that, with the rest of your team. The same goes with the peer learning, because you are so close with the rest of your peers. You guys are in that environment where you are all learning together. You are getting access to the same resources. You're getting access to the same information. So even if for whatever reason I'm unable to gain access to my lecturer in time, that relationship that you have with your peers in TAP, it's a completely different experience than being in uni, being in college.
Yeah. And I think because the sessions are recorded, you are able to just follow through as well, even if you may have missed a session.
Yeah, so the nice thing about, because our sessions are online, if you happen to miss a session, because everything is online, there is a tight network of or there was a tight network of communication when I was attending, of groups and access to systems where we get access to any kind of material that you may have missed. As soon as that stuff comes out, you gain access to that, and the sessions are recorded. So if you miss a day, you miss a session, you just gain access to that CRM, you gain access to that system, and you have a recording right there. And because you have a recording and you have that peer learning, you guys are able to actually go back to that recording and almost have that session again with your peers and get their perspectives from what they actually got from the sessions. If they attended that session and you didn't, that peer learning experience gives you an opportunity to go to that recording and pretty much get that same experience.
Absolutely amazing stuff. So I'm more interested to find out about your journey before you found out about the talent acceleration program. What were you doing?
So
were you working? Were you doing game development? Were you building games? What were you doing?
So unfortunately, I actually wasn't able to complete my game development course.
Okay.
A lot of people will say that nothing is difficult. I actually have the exact opposite opinion. I think everything is difficult. You just need to put in the effort to make it easy, right? And so after I failed my game development course, I essentially did my own self-paced learning with gaming, tried to further my understanding of the game engines and the languages, which furthered my interest in tech because
Yeah.
when it comes to gaming, you guys are using coding languages, you guys are using gaming engines. You need to understand how that tech works.
Yeah.
And so obviously that stemmed a deeper interest in tech. I went on to obviously complete my audio composition degree. And after doing that, I was mostly just trying to develop my own games, developing my own music. And I wasn't employed actually.
Were you looking?
I was looking, I was applying like everyone my age, applying at every college, applying anywhere where they'll take you. You know, a lot of people my age will find themselves giving up on what they wanted to apply for and just taking what they give you.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so that's exactly what I was doing. I was applying everywhere. I was looking for work.
For how long? Just out of interest.
So I graduated in 2022 and I only started TAP in 2024. So for 2 years, I am just applying and just pushing by myself, just looking to find any certification that could further my career or any job that'll give me my big break.
Yeah.
And that's what it was like for 2 years.
So 2 years is a long time looking
2
for a job.
years is a very long time.
What happens in
job.
that? What happens in that space? I mean, 2 years of not. Wait, did you at least score an interview or two?
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of us, and by us I mean peers of my age.
Yeah.
Right after matric, right after college, there is that what a lot of companies will call a break or a space in between employment where they don't understand why aren't you employed during this time?
Yeah.
What was going on? And during that time, I can affirm to you that we are like getting interviews, we are applying at these jobs, we are applying for these certifications. But like I said, a lot of us will find ourselves applying at universities that we want to go to, applying for certifications that we want, and only getting taken for things like a lot of people will apply for computer science and find that they don't, their marks don't meet that, or there's no space, and you end up just taking the course that they say, okay, well, we have this.
The second best.
The second best, you know, and same with employment, the interview. One of the things I learned, and this goes back to accreditations, is that you'll go to these job interviews and your CV will be stacked with whatever certifications that you have. But for example, I had actually done a short A+ course and I'd actually gotten a few little badges, badges from them. And what I found was that when I apply, those badges were no longer relevant that I did. And so all those applications that you are sending out and your CV's looking is filled with all these certifications. If you don't have the relevant certifications, the relevant accreditations, industry relevant accreditations.
I see.
These jobs are not gonna consider you. They're not. They really aren't.
So I think that's that contrast that you are unpacking now is between the kind of qualification that you went and pursued with the university, with an institution, and also comparing that with the qualification that you eventually managed to get through the program that you joined with Think Tank. So, I mean, you were unemployed for 2 straight years.
2 straight years.
Applying, sending in those CVs. And then you joined the Talent Acceleration Program. So you went back to school,
So
effectively.
I went back to school. And the reason I went back to school is because I saw that the certifications that I got were not helping me get a job. They weren't helping me further my education. There weren't even more opportunities that I could get from the certifications. So I went back to school and I went to TAP and I changed my approach.
Yeah.
Essentially, this was now going back to school with the intention of now getting an industry relevant accreditation. And I got educated about this through researching TAP, through finding out about TAP. And when I joined TAP, it was during 2024. And I can confirm that even right after finishing TAP and getting my accreditations, the difference between the responses I was getting to my applications pre-TAP to post-TAP were worlds apart.
Wow.
All of a sudden now, companies that weren't considering me because of my lack of experience
Yeah.
or whatnot were all of a sudden now asking me to send my CV again or call them back because they were seeing that I had these industry work ready accreditations that they were looking for.
Okay. So I think you mentioning information about tap, and it sounds like it's an interesting program. So, what certification did you do that helped to transition you from somebody who's difficult to employ to somebody who is like now in demand?
So, like I said, when I joined TAP, I joined after researching a little bit more about cloud computing. I had a big interest in cloud computing. That's the industry I wanted to break into.
Yeah.
And one of the certifications that I was able to get accredited in was a certification from AWS, Amazon Web Services, which is world leading in cloud industries.
Yeah.
And the certification I got was the solutions architect accreditation from them. And it's one of their midway entry level accreditations that they have for cloud development, for cloud computing. And essentially all the jobs that I was applying for web, cloud computing, web computing.
Yeah.
Once I got that cert in my CV, that you could feel the weight of my application.
Yeah.
Compared to before I got that, even compared to people who had done other certifications in university. Unfortunately, the certifications they had weren't as industry relevant as the solutions architect
Yeah.
accreditation that I had gotten in a year. So
Yeah.
that was the difference between me, who had studied for a year and gotten my accreditation in that year, as compared to someone who had done 5 years of IT,
Degree.
development, whatever, and we apply for the same position. Maybe they have an interest in cloud computing,
Yeah.
but you just find that unfortunately they in their CV they don't have those industry relevant certifications that I had.
Yeah.
And so those industry relevant certifications made me a much more attractive applicant compared to someone who had done 5-6 years in university.
Yep. Okay. So tell us about job opportunities then. Are you working? What's happening?
So yes, to answer your question, I am working. I have been employed for 9 months. I actually got employed immediately after finishing my
Wow.
certifications. So I did TAP in 2024 and I was employed in May of 2025. So if you want to count how long, you can go ahead. It's not that long of a time. And I would say during that time frame, it was just me applying and me being noticed by other companies. So
Okay.
right after finishing TAP, I put those accreditations in my CV and started applying again. And immediately I started noticing that difference of my CV now being actually looked at by these companies
Yeah.
and being considered as an actual applicant.
So now you work for Think Tank.
So now I work for Think Tank.
What do you do there?
So I have been working for Think Tank. When I first started, I was hired as their business development associate. I am currently their business development lead. So when I first started at Think Tank, you may be confused as to the position that I have. Maybe you don't think, oh, but that position it isn't related to maybe it doesn't it isn't IT, it isn't. But I work at a tech company. I work for a tech company, and so you will see that accreditation got me noticed by Think Tank.
Yep.
It got me in the position to be in BD. And because I'm accredited in my AWS, I understand the tech of AWS, I understand the industry that I'm working in. I was an attractive candidate for the BD position. I was an attractive candidate for the BD lead position.
Yeah.
And that's how I got my job. That's how I got where I am.
That is incredible because I mean, if you're saying you were unemployed, I'm just tracking back to where the journey started. That you studied a couple of short certs. You went to varsity as well, and then you found yourself in a space where you are not able to get employment. You found out about Think Tank through your rabbit hole, finding out or trying to research about AWS,
Looking for work.
and then looking for work. And what, 16 months, 18
Couple of
months?
months, less than 2 years. I can confidently say that I finished my course and got employed right after. And as maybe arrogant as that may sound, that is my journey. That was my journey. My journey was to get accredited, and honestly, getting accredited opened doors of employment for me. It allowed me to be in a position where I am now able to learn so much more. One of the things about accreditation is that it does not end. You don't just get your accreditation and now you are done. One of the things about our industries is that it's always changing, it's always evolving, and vendor-specific accreditations are tied to the industry. So when you get your solutions architect, when you get whatever vendor certification that you get, you are essentially opening up different doors to updating yourself in IT. There's so much growth in, for example, AWS. You can go into development. You can go into so much more just off of that one accreditation. And so
With just one
accreditation, you could even branch out into another field of ICT, which is the beautiful thing about accreditations. You aren't trapped in that one industry. You aren't trapped in that one
particular
space.
space. So what certification do you have?
So I'm an accredited solutions architect, and I'm an accredited solutions practitioner, cloud practitioner as well.
All right. And then what certs was the program with Think Tank covering?
So Think Tank specifically covered solutions architect, cloud practitioner, Fortinet NSE 123, and Cisco CCNA.
Okay.
So while those specific names may not ring a bell to you guys, what I'm trying to say is that TAB offered 4 different ICT certifications from 4 different ICT vendors. So you had cloud computing, you had networking, and you had cybersecurity in the span of 12 months. And you are not just getting a random certification. You are getting a certification from Fortinet, which is leading in cybersecurity. If you want to do cybersecurity, you want to start a career in cybersecurity, then you know about Fortinet. You want to get into Fortinet. And this course literally gives you entryway into that, Same for CCNA, same for networking, same for AWS.
Okay.
So those are the specific courses that they're offering.
All right. It sounds like you've had a very amazing journey in terms of learning that through the Talent Acceleration Program. What were the challenges? Because it sounds all glorious, when you're speaking about what were the challenges in between. Are there any challenges that someone that's interested to learn about?
There are always challenges. Always challenges. But one of the things I can say with confidence is that the challenges did not come from the delivery of my education or the delivery of my content from TAB. Mainly, the challenge came from my personal, essentially just a complete transformation from moving from gaming and creativity, moving directly into tech now, moving directly into BD. I mean, now I'm working in, business development. I'm doing interviews. There's so many doors that have been opened up for me through that, so through my certifications. And so the challenges that I went through were just trying to adapt to the certifications, adapt to the pace, adapt to the content. But one thing that I can say is that being in an environment where you get access to your lecturers, you get access to that direct content, that direct peer learning, it made those challenges so much easier because I wasn't facing them alone. Instead of being alone in my room studying for an exam that I don't understand, I had access to 20 other peers that are writing, and we had that opportunity to
work together,
go through those challenges together. So there were challenges, but we overcame them.
And then, did you ever fail an exam?
Yes.
Which exam was this?
100%. So I failed my CCNA networking, my Cisco. Very hard, very difficult. Coming from someone who knew absolutely nothing about
Yeah, yeah.
switches, networking, and now like being able to the fact that I'm able to even tell you what a switch is,
Yeah.
even though I failed, the
Yeah.
information, like I'm able to have those conversations with people
Yeah.
and understand that technology. And obviously, I tried again, and we tried again, and the second time wasn't as hard, but just like with those challenges, you learn. You get through that and you learn. Like literally, you may fail the exam, but you come out of there understanding networking. You come out of there having learned something that you wouldn't have thought you would have understood: networking, routing, switching, understanding how Cisco works, the ins and out of networking. You literally while you may not pass the exam on your first try, you come out with that information.
Yeah.
And in the second try, it's just a
Yeah.
matter of you getting the specific mark that you need to
Yeah.
get through, right?
That's
So
it.
yeah.
All right, and then with you mentioned something about the Fortinet stuff. Did you went through NSE 1, 2, 3? Did you do NSE 4 as well?
So I can't recall if we did my NSE 4, if I personally completed my NSE 4. But essentially, with the Fortinet and with all of the courses that we got,
Yeah.
they were essentially almost in-depth subject transformations where you are going from AWS cloud computing, you're getting an in-depth understanding of how cloud works, how how AWS works, and then when we move to Fortinet, it's the same with Cisco, where while I didn't personally get
Yeah.
my Fortinet certification, I came out of there understanding how cybersecurity works.
Yeah.
And I'm in a position now to try again with Fortinet or even apply for different positions that involve cybersecurity.
Yeah.
I'm equipped much more than someone who knows absolutely nothing about cybersecurity,
Yeah.
or someone who is just starting cybersecurity at, let's say, for example, uni. And one thing I found about Fortinet, even though I didn't do anything involving cybersecurity, I don't work in cybersecurity, I know for a fact that Fortinet, that Think Tank happens to be partnered with, is one of the leading vendors in cybersecurity. So I can confirm to you that if you are in university right now and you're doing a cybersecurity course and it doesn't involve Fortinet, and you get that certification and you pass, and you are now applying for a job, and it's you versus someone with that Fortinet accreditation, we know who is going to have a heavier CV between the two of you because of the weight that the Fortinet accreditation carries. Not with us, not with industry, not with organizations, but with the industry itself where you
Yeah.
are applying. So that's just the difference between Fortinet accreditations and uni courses, right?
That is powerful. That is a very powerful, a heavy statement to make because, lots of people invest in ICT, in uni education going for 3, 4 years. And because we are in the tech industry, we do recruitment, we do training. We've seen a number of guys that come to us to say we want to align ourselves with what industry is looking for. So to say that with just the one certification, that with AWS, you were able to just get an opportunity, but in that program you did 4. That's just
We did
just
4 in the
amazing.
span of 12 months. And like I got away with 2 out of 4. So
And you still managed to get a job.
if you can get away with 4 out of 4, I really can't state how well equipped you are for the tech industry,
Yeah.
how well equipped you are for the tech industry.
We actually did an interview with Kagiso Dlolo. He's an engineer in the tech industry. And he's also shared his journey about that he did Cisco CCNA. That's where he started. It's just the one qualification. So, to your point, when you say you only got 2 out of 4, I could only imagine with 4.
Just 4, exactly.
All right.
And the job opportunities that come your way, like you said, are real. They are real job opportunities. We, like you said in Think Tank, we are aligned. We're industry aligned. We do training, and so we even offer training to actual employed companies where they are coming to us looking for these vendor certifications that we are offering in TAP.
Yeah.
We have employed companies bringing their employees to us,
Mm.
upgrading them to
Yeah.
solutions architect. So if we have someone who's employed, who's only getting that certification that I walked away with in 2024, that just shows you the power of these accreditations and again the relevancy of these accreditations in the actual job market. That we have people who are employed, we have companies that have specialists that need to get these accreditations because of how the industry is moving, because of how the industry is constantly updating. And that's just how TAP works. You know, TAP is always tapped into the bloodline of the industry. And so when I joined, I got the accreditations that the companies were looking for, which is how I got employed. That's just how it was. You know, it may sound easy, but that is the truth of how it happened. You know, I got an industry relevant accreditation, and therefore my CV became industry relevant. That's just how it works.
So now, so you were a student a year ago or 16 months ago. Now let's fast forward to you now. You know, the Olebogeng from 3 years ago to now. What would you say are the major changes that you've seen in your life because of the program?
I'm employed.
One big one. One big one. All right.
For one, I'm employed, and for two, not to sound like a broken record, for two, what I have found is that I am so much more prepared to upgrade myself for learning. That solutions architect accreditation that I got opened paths for me to get, because like I said, you don't stop with accreditations. You are constantly upgrading. There's always there's another great accreditation to get. There's always another great opportunity to get. And now I am essentially equipped to actually go after those opportunities. I have a pathway. I know what's next. I know where to go next. I have a direction.
What's next? Interested to know.
So for me personally,
what's the next certification?
I want to get my solutions architect professional for one.
Okay.
And I would like to go into development within the AWS space. And then as far as BD, I need Think Tank to go to the moon. I'm taking Think Tank to the moon. So those are my plans.
Awesome. So I'm interested to learn about the business development role that you're currently occupying. What does that entail? What's a day in a life of a business development lead? In your world.
So the day in the life of me as a business development lead for a tech company is a lot more straightforward than you may think, because of my accreditations and because of the industry that I am working in. My job is to align my company's business interests with the tech world, with other companies. So in BD, your job is to bring money to the company. So my job is to bring money to the company.
So you make money now?
That's my job. I make money. That is my job.
Exciting stuff. So I don't think I have any more questions. If somebody wants to go into the tech industry, I think this was my last question. So if somebody is finding themselves in a space where, like you've shared your experience, you were a little bit all over the place, you didn't know what to study, you're thinking about going to uni to pursue your studies, so you can be in a field, eventually you can be maybe an entrepreneur, or you can become a professional within a business, right? So for somebody who's wanting to pursue a career in ICT, given your experience, your journey, what advice would you give? What are the things that somebody needs to look at? What advice would you provide?
So if you want to start a career in ICT, you need to educate yourself about the careers in ICT. You need to educate yourself about the relevant accreditations in ICT. If you know you want to code, if you know you want to develop, you want to work in this specific industry, it's all about educating yourself, exposing yourself to the actual relevant accreditations that are legitimate now in the industry now. It's not about finding out which uni courses are the ones that are most popular or the ones get you these specific certifications. It's all about understanding the industry that you want to work in and understanding the accreditations that will open the doors for you in that industry.
Yeah.
That would be my take.
Thank you so much for that contribution. I think just to add to what Olebogeng has shared is very important that you need to not only find institutions, or when you're doing your research, you must be very mindful about the institutions that you're learning from. All right, some of the institutions are not registered, they're not recognized, and they're not doing things by the book in terms of accreditation. So you might find that you're investing 3-4 years in a qualification that is not going to be recognized. So I think absolutely research is
Huge danger. Yeah.
absolutely fundamental.
Very
So
relevant.
yeah, so thank you so much, Olwelhem, for your contribution. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me, T.
All right.
See you Monday.
Absolutely. I'll see you on Monday. So thank you everybody for joining our incredible journey with learning about technology, ICT career specifically. So today we've had Olebogeng, who was just giving us information about his particular journey with the Think Tank Talent Acceleration Program. So we're hoping that this session has been absolutely informative for you, and would like to thank you for spending the few minutes or hours with us today. Thank you. Enjoy your day.